it's Rose and welcome back to Cheap Lazy Vegan and another what I ate in a week video. Yes guys, I'm coming at you from my new apartment. It's messy, okay? Should we do a little I just moved over the weekend, just a few days ago. It has been a stressful time. Oh, a lot of things happened. We're just trying to settle in and clean up everything, so don't judge me for this mess, okay? So I filmed this before I moved, so it was like pretty much right before I moved, and basically I tried to eat as much as I could out of my kitchen so that I wouldn't have to move so much. So I was trying to use things up. Before we get started, just want to let you know that this video is sponsored by Thrive Market once again. If you guys don't know, Thrive Market is an online wholesale retailer that specializes in natural and organic items. So basically they're like a natural food store that does wholesale prices. So for an annual membership fee of $60, you get access to their items that are usually 25 to 50% off retail value. They have a lot of vegan items, gluten-free items, a lot of things that just meet different dietary preferences. And I'm going to be using a lot of products from Thrive Market in this video. Another great thing about Thrive Market is that they actually give back a lot to the community. So for every paid membership, they give a free membership to a family in need or a veteran. We all know how expensive natural products can be. So it's a really, really great thing. And they also have a lot of different things that they do to help and give back to the community, which is awesome. If you have not yet tried out Thrive Market, make sure you check out the link down below. And that will give you 25% off your first order plus a 1-month free trial. So without further ado, let's get on with this video and show you guys what I ate in a week. Alright guys, let's get started with day one. I'm going to start with some footage of me making some coffee. So this happens pretty much every morning. I make coffee every morning, I drink coffee every morning, but I don't think I showed it every single morning. But just assume that I'm drinking coffee every morning. So this is the only time I'm like showing you that I'm making it. So there we go. And now it's time for breakfast. I normally have breakfast a few hours before the coffee kicks in, you know. So I'm gonna make some oatmeal, which I rarely do, but sometimes when I do make it, it is actually quite good. So I'm gonna throw some oatmeal into this little pot along with some chia seeds for those healthy fats, guys, those healthy omega-3 fats. Yes, we're also going to throw in some hemp hearts, which are also really great for healthy fats, but also great for some protein as well. So lots of nutrients in this little pot. I just threw in a little bit of water and then I'm just going to mix that well and then throw it on the stove and then cook it. So that's what I did. I'm sure many of you guys know how to cook oatmeal, and I don't even know if I do it in the best way possible, but whatever. Throw it into a bowl once it's cooked. I'm just topping my bowl with some raspberries and some slices of banana. And we're also going to throw in a large scoop of peanut butter. Yum. So that was breakfast. Now moving on to lunch. I actually had a bunch of leftovers from Korean Thanksgiving, which is basically like Mid-Autumn Festival, also known as Chuseok. So I just had a bunch of like pan-fried goodness that my mom made. There's like sweet potato, Korean savory pancakes. There's also eggplant, just deliciousness. And I also had this with some seaweed. This is basically roasted individual sized seaweed that Korean people eat a lot of. So I had that with my meal. Oh, so good. After breakfast, I actually headed to my cafe and I'm having a little chai latte as my little snack. I also had half a breakfast burrito. This is basically scrambled tofu in a wrap. It was a mess up basically, and we don't like to throw away food, so I'm having it because why not? And then for dinner, we had these smoked tofu salad rolls left over, which I love so much. Again, from my cafe, they were left over, and we make these fresh every day. So if they're left over, I get to eat them. Yay! And I was actually at my parents' house for dinner, so I had some delicious food. My mom made these like tofu steak things and some like sauce. I don't know what sauce it was, but it was so good. And we also have two different kinds of kimchi. This is cucumber kimchi and regular cabbage kimchi. And I had all that with rice. And we also had some miyeokguk, which is Korean seaweed soup. And my mom makes the best miyeokguk. This was with some mushrooms as well. So delicious. Oh my gosh, it was amazing. And then for dessert, my mom actually made this hobakjuk, which is basically like a pumpkin soup. I don't know if that's the right term, but there's like black beans in there, there's chestnuts. It's so tasty. Look how big she is. I slept at my parents' house, therefore the next day I get to eat some more Korean food. So we had a bunch of leftovers still from Korean Thanksgiving, including some Korean vegetables that my mom cooked up. So I'm going to make this into a bibimbap, or Korean mixed rice. So you just take some rice, some vegetables, add some gochujang, which is Korean red chili pepper paste. I also have some lentils in here, and I'm mixing everything very well. And I couldn't pass up having another one of these tofu cakes, which this time I'm having with ketchup. And of course, I'm going to have some more seaweed soup as well. And this is what bibimbap looks like once it's nicely mixed together. It's so good. This is one of my favorite dishes ever. And then for a snack, I'm having some Korean melons. And we're back at the cafe. I believe I'm drinking here a cappuccino. I normally drink black coffee, but sometimes I like a little cappuccino. And then I'm also going to have a bagel. This is lunch, I believe. I eat a lot, I can't keep track. This is lunch, bagel with smoked tofu, some lettuce, some tomato, and I also put some vegan cheese in there that we're selling in the cafe as well. Delicious. Let's also make a smoothie. I told you I'm hungry. Okay, we're making a protein smoothie. We have some almond milk in there, some protein powder, flax seeds, and I believe half a banana. And that's delicious because the protein powder is a vanilla protein powder and it's really, really yummy. And for dinner, I decided to make a salad because I already ate so much and I felt like I needed more vegetables. So I just really wanted some fresh vegetables and a bit of a lighter dinner. So I'm taking some beets. I also have some artichoke hearts, which I love so much. They are so delicious. And we're also going to take some vegetables, of course. That is what you need in a salad. I'm also throwing in some edamame beans. This is going to make this salad a lot more filling. And I'm also going to throw in some alfalfa sprouts, which I also love so much. And we also have some red onion that I chopped up. I love red onion. Isn't it so good? And we're just going to make the salad. We're going to add some dressing and mix it really, really well. I just used some sort of maple Dijon dressing that I had in my fridge. And there's the salad. And of course, you guys know me. You know I'm not just having that salad. I have a little side of some of those leftovers that I had earlier. And there's my very kind of light and healthy dinner. Welcome to day 3, everybody. If you've made it this far to the video, you might as well give this video a big thumbs up. I don't know, maybe you want to, maybe you don't. The button is right there for you. So for breakfast, I'm actually going to be eating some ramen noodles. I was really craving noodle soup, as I usually do. I'm using these ramen noodles that you can find at Thrive Market, and what we're gonna do is I actually made the same soup as I did in one of my previous videos where I show you guys how to make a hot noodle soup from scratch. I'll link that video down below so you can get the recipe. So I just threw in the noodles with the broth, and I'm also going to throw in some edamame beans. Now the broth is made in advance, so I don't have to really do anything except for just throw in the extra ingredients that I want. So that's really, really convenient. Once again, that recipe will be linked down below. In our ramen noodle soup, we're also going to throw in some green onions, chopped green onions, along with some baby bok choy, and also some cubed soft tofu. All of these are delicious in a noodle soup. Now, one thing I'm going to do a little bit differently to make this soup a little bit more creamy is I'm going to use some tahini. So this is a great way to take a regular clear sort of broth and give it a bit of a creamy consistency without using anything, you know, unhealthy, for example. So I'm just going to thin out the tahini paste, which is basically like a sesame paste. Thin that out a little bit with the broth, and then I'm gonna throw it into that soup. And it really made a big difference, gave it some nice flavor, and made it into a nice and creamy noodle soup instead of a clear broth. Look how awesome this looks. Just a quick reminder to take your vitamins, especially your vitamin B12. On this day, I actually filmed a video where I did easy, healthy school lunch ideas, so I'll link that video down below. But yeah, I had this for lunch, go figure. So this is a hummus, veggie, and tofu wrap, which I actually took to my parents' house because I had to go watch Nari. So I'm having that with some cucumbers. And yeah, that's what I had for a light lunch. With that, I'm having my usual sparkling water. This is the grapefruit bubbly. Oh, so delicious. And I'm also having some plums. Are these plums? Yes. Some tiny little plums that I got at the grocery store. I'm having like 4 because they're tiny. And after lunch, I played with Nari. Yes. Or I say Nari in Korean. Yes, that's the Korean pronunciation. Look how cute she is. Nari. I want to see your face. Hi, buddy. For a snack, I'm having a dried up persimmon, which is a Korean snack. It's super sweet and delicious. I love it so much. And look who's watching me. Just... Come on. What a beautiful day. Come. I took her on a path that we usually don't go to, so she's having a great time exploring, and it's actually really beautiful. Look at that, look at the sky, look at the trees. It's officially fall, I guess. Oh, Natty, no, that's someone else's yard. I'm sorry, this is just picturesque. If you would just stay still. Natty! For dinner, I'm having bibimbap. Once again, I told you I love this stuff. I'm also having another one of these tofu steaks along with a tiny little bit more rice. Yes, okay. And my mom actually made this lotus root side dish. This is a very Korean side dish and it's really tasty. Yay, it is day 4. We are having some delicious breakfast. We have a piece of toast with hummus, alfalfa sprouts, some cherry tomatoes, cilantro, and chopped red onions. And then we're also having some more of this pumpkin soup. It's more like pumpkin porridge, which is again a Korean dish that my mom made, and it's so good. And maybe one day I'll learn how to make it. So that's my breakfast, and then I'm going to have a nice smoothie. So I had a ton of frozen spinach, so I'm just throwing in a bunch of spinach into a blender along with some water and with some frozen banana as well. For this smoothie, I'm going to throw in some acai powder. Acai berry is a very healthy berry full of antioxidants, and it's actually quite delicious as well. So I'm going to throw some of that into my smoothie, and I'm also going to add in some vanilla protein powder into my smoothie as well. And that's it. Super simple and easy, but lots of great things in here, and it's going to help me feel a little bit more satiated, and it's a great snack. And for lunch, I'm going to have some leftovers from my easy vegan lunch ideas video. This is a really delicious and simple pasta salad with lots of vegetables. So as you can see here, there's some pasta, there's some chickpeas, broccoli, carrots, some cherry tomatoes, and there's also some basil in here as well, like fresh basil. And I'm going to add some artichoke hearts in there too. And if you guys want the recipe for this pasta salad, once again, it's in my video linked down below. And I'm also going to add some nutritional yeast flakes on top of my salad just to add a little bit more dimension and something a little bit more interesting into my meal. And look at this delicious looking pasta salad. Super healthy, super delicious. And for dinner, it was actually my friend's birthday, so we had dinner at this Korean pub. And of course, I got a bibimbap once again, but that was like the only option for me, so that kind of sucked. And this bibimbap was just okay, it was not great. And I'm also having some soju, which is a Korean liquor, yes. And because of day 4 shenanigans, I was a little bit hungover on day 5. So for breakfast, I'm having instant noodles, which is my hangover cure. So yes, I'm having this cup ramen, which is a vegan one, and it just kind of hits the spot. What can I say? This is what I crave when I'm hungover. Yes, I'm sure you guys know already. And for lunch, I wanted to have something a little bit healthier, so I'm having my lentil and quinoa salad that I made in my easy vegan lunch ideas video. So I'm using these lentils right here, as well as this quinoa that I got from Thrive Market, of course, and lots of fresh veggies in my salad. Yeah, it was needed, some fresh vegetables. And I actually decided to make it into a wrap, so I put it into a tortilla and toasted it. Anything tastes better in a wrap, I swear to God. So I put it into a wrap. That was my lunch. And for dinner, I had these enoki mushrooms that were going bad. Well, they were about to go bad, so I had to cook them up. So I added in some enoki mushrooms into a pan along with some chopped green onion. I'm gonna add some soy sauce along with some gochugaru, or Korean chili pepper flakes, which is gonna add a slight kick to it, and just going to cook it until the enoki mushrooms are completely cooked. So that's going to be a side dish to my meal. So let's make my actual meal. I'm going to be making my usual tahini dressing. I've made this so many times in the past. I'm going to leave a link down below to show you how I make this. This time I'm not really measuring. I'm just kind of throwing things into a dish, which is how I often cook when I'm not making videos. So once everything is mixed together, your dressing should look something like this. Doesn't that look delicious? And I'm actually going to be eating this with soba noodles along with some chickpeas as well. So I have these cooked and chilled soba noodles. I'm going to throw in some green onions and some chopped cucumber as well. And we're also going to throw in a ton of cilantro and of course some of that dressing. I'm going to mix that really well, and there we have a delicious tahini and soba noodle bowl along with a side of enoki mushrooms. Oh, and of course I threw in some alfalfa sprouts as well. What else is new? And actually, after tasting this, I decided it was a little bit too salty for my taste. I should have tasted the sauce before throwing a bunch in. That was my mistake. But instead of crying over this, I decided to make lettuce wraps. So I just washed some romaine lettuce and just ate my noodles with these lettuce leaves, which was actually really yummy. And later this evening, one of my friends actually came over and gave me this veggie bean patty, and I was gonna keep it in the fridge, but I was like, you know what, I got some burger buns, let's make a little late night snack. So I made myself a late night burger snack. It was very tasty. Yes, very, very tasty. Let's start off day 6 with a mango smoothie. I actually had some frozen mango in my freezer for a very, very long time, and it was basically clumped up into a big frozen ball. So I thawed it out in the fridge overnight, and now I'm going to use it in a smoothie. We're going to throw in some chia seeds into this mixture. You guys know I love throwing in some healthy fats into my smoothies whenever I remember. We're going to throw in some water as well into the smoothie, along with some frozen banana and a giant chunk of frozen spinach, as well as a scoop of vanilla protein powder. And then of course we're going to blend this up and create a very delicious smoothie. And this smoothie really reminded me to use mangoes more often. They are really, really delicious. And along with my smoothie, I'm actually having a sweet potato. My parents actually gave me this bag of frozen sweet potatoes that have already been cooked, and I think they sell these in like Asian supermarkets, but it's like super convenient because it's already cooked. You just have to thaw it out and maybe heat it up before you eat it. And for lunch, I had yet another dish from my easy vegan lunch ideas video. This is the teriyaki tofu and veggies stir fry with some quinoa. This is super delicious and very satisfying lunch, but hungry me needs more food. So I actually ended up having another little snack at my cafe. This is the vegan no eggs Benny, which is basically a vegan version of an eggs Benedict. This is one of our best sellers, and I actually just made half an order because I didn't want a full one. But yeah, that was my little snack, which is so good. And on this day, I must have been starving because I had yet another pre-dinner snack, which was a protein bar from Vega. This is the blueberry oat protein bar. And then let's prepare some dinner. So we're going to stir fry some onion and garlic. And let's throw in some vegetables. We're gonna throw in some broccoli, carrots, some peppers, mix that well. And when it starts to dry out a little bit, I like to always throw in a little bit of water. It also helps quicken the process of cooking those vegetables on the pan because it kind of steams it at the same time. We're also going to throw in a giant chunk of frozen Brussels sprouts, once again trying to get rid of things in my freezer. And we're also going to throw in some chickpeas, and that's going to be a really simple and easy stir fry. Now you can use whatever sauce you'd like if you make something like this. I'm actually going to use some teriyaki sauce that is from Thrive Market. This is a gluten-free teriyaki sauce. It's just really convenient to just have sauces like this around, so you can just throw it into any sort of stir fry and make a really quick dinner. So there you have a very delicious looking stir fry with lots of veggies and some chickpeas. And I'm gonna have that with some rice and of course some of that same seaweed as before and a little side of cucumber. And for a little dessert, I'm having some fruit. So I have some plums and some raspberries that were left over. And once again, I got pretty hungry later on that evening, so I'm gonna have another little meal. Basically, I have some avocado here, and I wanted to make this avocado and rice and seaweed meal. Okay, I eat this sometimes. It's super simple and delicious. I just put a little salt on the avocado, take these seaweed things and these roasted seaweed pieces, I should say, take some avocado, take some rice, and make a nice little roll. And this is so good, you guys. You need to try this combination. And then I ended up just having more food. I had some more rice and leftover stir fry. Yay, you've made it to day 7. We are going to be making some delicious food on day 7. First thing I'm going to make are some matcha buttermilk pancakes. Yes, these are vegan matcha buttermilk pancakes that are so delicious, and the recipe can be found in my Asian recipes ebook. Once again, it will be linked down below. Look how beautifully green these pancakes are. These are so delicious, and I absolutely love matcha anything. So yeah, this is awesome. I can never make like beautifully stacked pancakes. I just don't have time or energy or patience for any of that. But this looks pretty good, right? I mean, that looks delicious. We're gonna add in some blueberries as well as some raspberries. And of course, you can't miss the maple syrup. This was just such a perfect breakfast. I was craving this on day 6 and I couldn't make it because I didn't have any non-dairy milk. So I just went to get some. And I'm having that with some coffee, of course, and just so blissful. Okay. And while I'm working, I drank some sparkling water as usual. I forget the flavor, but sometimes I drink it out of a wine glass to make myself feel fancy, you know. And for lunch, we're gonna make some more food. So on this day, I had all day to cook and just stay at home and work. So I made a lot of food. So in a pan, we're gonna saute some diced onion and some minced garlic. And I had this jar of fresh tomato sauce that my mom made. So this is made from fresh tomatoes and not much else more. And I had it in a jar, so I threw that into the pan. Now I'm also going to throw in some chopped fresh basil, and just a reminder that basically I'm just using all leftovers here. So whatever I had left over from my previous cooking videos or whatever I just have in my fridge. So here I'm throwing in some quinoa and lentils into this mixture. And my thought process was that I wanted to make a bit of a bolognese style sauce. So basically like a chunky tomato-based sauce that you can use as like a pasta sauce. Here I'm throwing in some cherry tomatoes, and I decided to just finish up the quinoa and lentils and just make a really thick sauce. Now, because it was so thick, it kind of became kind of like a quinoa lentil stew, which I'm all for. I mean, look how delicious this looks. So you can eat it like this just on its own, but I was pretty much determined to eat this with pasta as like a pasta sauce. So I actually cooked up some udon noodles, which I sometimes use in replacement of pasta because udon noodles are super chewy and delicious, and I had these ones left over, so I made some of that, and then I'm going to throw in this quinoa lentil bolognese style sauce, and then we're going to eat it like this. And it was actually so tasty. I highly recommend trying this out. Now, I would normally make a vegan bolognese style sauce with just lentils instead of quinoa, but the quinoa added a really nice texture as well, so I really enjoyed it. And for a snack, I'm actually making some toast. So I have 2 pieces of toast here. I'm going to add some hummus onto one and some avocado onto the other. We're going to add some toppings as well. So I have some chopped red onion. I also had some leftover cilantro, which I'm going to add onto the avocado side, and some alfalfa sprouts I'm going to add onto the hummus side. And we also have some chopped green onions, which I added to the avocado side. So we have 2 pieces of fancy looking toast, and it was super yummy. And another little snack I'm having alongside the toast, some edamame beans, of course, topped with some garlic salt. Oh, and I have another snack. I have some roasted seaweed once again. Can you tell I'm addicted to these? They're so good. And this time I'm just eating it on its own because it's just tasty on its own too. And I had a lot of these little carrots left over in the fridge, so I thought I would need to use them up. So I'm just peeling them at this moment, and I'm going to use them for some things that I'm making. So I wanted to roast the carrots, so I chopped them up, and I'm going to steam them for a little bit before throwing them into the oven. And once the carrots are softened just a little bit, I'm just going to toss them with a few things before throwing them into the oven. So I have some olive oil here, some extra virgin olive oil that I'm just using a little bit of. And I'm also going to throw in some liquid aminos, which is basically a gluten-free soy sauce. Also decided to toss in some garlic powder as well. Yummy! And then we're just going to place the carrots onto a lined baking tray, and then we are going to bake until basically they look desirable. And as part of my dinner, I also wanted to make some lentil meatballs, and I'm just basically simplifying my own recipe. I took the teriyaki lentil balls recipe from my Everyday Asian Recipes ebook, and I'm just going to simplify it. I'm just taking some carrots and onions and mixing it with some lentils as well as some oats, I think, and I threw in some teriyaki sauce. I do have a vegan homemade teriyaki sauce recipe in the ebook as well, but for simplicity's sake and for ease, I'm just using the store-bought teriyaki sauce that you saw earlier, just mixing that really well and just forming them into nice balls. So we're gonna bake that, and while that's baking, we can make some noodles. I told you we're gonna be cooking a lot in this video. So we have some pad thai rice noodles. These are made from black rice, I believe, and these are actually really yummy. They're quite chewy compared to regular pad thai noodles. And for the sauce, I actually made my peanut sauce from my peanut soba noodle dish, which I will link down below if you want the recipe. And then on a pan, we added a little bit of oil, and I have some leftover broccoli stems that I chopped up, and I'm just going to saute that for a little bit. And we're gonna throw in some minced garlic once again. Can you tell yet how much I love garlic? And once those noodles are done cooking, I'm just going to throw them back into that pan, and we're also going to throw in that sauce as well. And we're also going to add a little splash of water and mix everything well together, and just making sure those noodles and the sauce and everything are just coming together as one. And here, my friends, is the last supper.
Doesn't this plate look delicious? We have the delicious noodles here, which I topped with some cilantro. We have the roasted carrots and the teriyaki lentil balls, all very delicious and plant-based.
All right, guys, did you enjoy that? Did ya? If you did, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. And of course, if you haven't subscribed yet, why have you not? Okay, click the subscribe button now. And of course, turn on that notification bell. Some people are saying that they're not being notified. Turn on that bell just in case, okay? And if you guys want to see more what I ate in a week videos, I actually have a playlist, which I'll link down below so you guys can watch more of these videos. These are quite entertaining for me to watch. So yeah, hopefully you enjoy them. Once again, I would like to thank Thrive Market for sponsoring today's video. If you guys want to check them out and try them out for free, the link is down below, and you will also get 25% off your first order, which is amazing. So don't forget to check them out and show them some love. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!